welcome everyone to the Family Matters Mother's Day podcast. Thank you, lovely ladies, for being with me this evening. If we could just start by going around and introducing ourselves, please. And we can just jump right in and just talk about what does your role of motherhood look like?
So my name's Felicia Hicks. I have one little baby and then another one on the way.
Congratulations.
But my current role of motherhood, my son is 2, he'll be 3 in the beginning of June. And right now it's wrangling an almost teenager. And he's in that phase where he's getting very sassy, very feisty, he's very vocal. And so a lot of what I do right now as a mom is trying to shape it because he has a lot of strong will, and I don't want to like put the fire out because that can be useful. But it just needs to be shaped properly. So right now, I'm in a phase where I'm really trying to be creative, and also just be godly in the way that I shape his attitude or, his headstrongness, and making sure that as he grows, he doesn't feel like I'm, shutting him down so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Felicia.
My name is Tranya Hawkins. As the podcast says, I'm Langston's mom. I am the mother to a 16-year-old. So good luck, Felicia. If you think a three-nager is tough, wait till they turn 16. Because wow, okay. What does my role of motherhood look like? You guys know my mother, Elaine. She greatly shaped what I thought a mother was. She's probably ear hustling to this call right now, but um, my mother has always been a giver and a worker. In a sense, she taught me that silently, obviously. And so, if something was needed, if a task had to be done, she was quick to volunteer, participate, offer her services, and giving. She always made giving very important in our home, giving to those less fortunate, giving to our church, giving of our time and our talent pretty significantly, especially in the church environment. I, have transferred a lot of that to my own work experience, which does take a toll, if you will, on my personal life because I have a pretty selfish job. And what I hope that I'm teaching my son in a godly way is that too much, to whom much is given, much is expected. And we have been blessed, I won't say beyond measure, but to a great extent. And I'm so thankful. And I just want to share what has been bestowed upon me in a giving and a loving way. And yeah, my mother often asks me, "Where are you going now?" And I'm like, "I'm going to work." She's like, "Did you just leave work?" And so I like to blame her for that. I'd be like, "Well, you work 6 days a week. Grandma, I can't work 6 days a week." And I'm just grateful that, she raised me in a Christian home where I had a good moral compass and I knew what was expected of me, because it translated through my entire life, high school, college, beyond. So I'm just really appreciative and glad to have this opportunity to share my experience.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tranya.
So my name is Betty Brown Graham, and motherhood looks different from one phase to the other. One thing that I have learned is that once a mother, always a mother until the day that each of you close your eyes, you are a mom. And there never becomes a time when it seems that our children do not no longer needs mom. So the complexities of our responsibilities will vary from one age to the other. And not only one age to the other, Felicia, you will soon find out from one child to the other. I'm number 10 of 11. And my mom was so incredibly amazing that she allowed each of us to be uniquely us. And had a way how I don't have a clue how she did it, but had a way of making all 11 of us feel like we were the only children and that we were her favorite. And so,
Awesome.
you know,
I love
that
that.
again, the complexities of our responsibility as a mother never actually goes away. It will change from one age to the other, from one situation to another. Yeah. So I've had fun. I cannot say honestly that in any of my teenage years they were bad. I never got the terrible twos, never got the crazy teenagers. I don't know how I escaped it because God knows I was not that child, but God's favor, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Betty. And I just realized I didn't introduce myself. My name is Sister Chanda Cook. Um, and I love what everyone said. Motherhood for me, I would describe motherhood for me as in this phase, I am taking care of three little ones, all 2 years apart. So this is a very busy phase of motherhood for me. But like you guys all said, um, you never stop mothering. It's like, I know that they need me. They really need me a lot now. And I know as they grow, it's going to change. But I love the role of being a mother. There's many things that come with it, the good, the bad. But I wouldn't trade it. I love being a mother. So why do you guys think mothers are important? Can we talk about why we think mothers are important?
So I the superhuman in my entire life was my mom. That woman was a living, breathing Bible without beating us with the Bible. She lived the word, a prayer warrior beyond measure, very gentle spirit, quiet voice, but she and God had a connection that was unparalleled by anything that I have ever seen in the natural. And so I really, one of the things that I learned from and really appreciated from my mom and Miss Tanya, with your mom being from the South, probably the same. They mothered children that they did not birth and probably still do. And that kind of has, like Dr. Harkins was saying, has kind of shaped me too, because my Achilles tendon is children and senior citizens. And if you want to break my heart, let me see you mistreat a child, a senior, or someone with a disability. Yeah, that. So I think it is super important because our responsibility as mothers is to point children toward Christ and to impart wisdom and teach them how to be caring human beings. And yeah, so I'm modeling faith, and I'm so amazingly appreciative of my mom who really modeled what godly wisdom and parenting looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Betty. Felicia, were you going to say something? I think you were about to say something too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, moms are. You said your question was why are moms important, right?
Yes. Yes.
Nobody can do what a mom can do,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what you put that on or what situation you put that in. Nobody can do what a mom can do, and a mom will do it in a way that, like Sister Betty was saying, you're like, how?
Yeah.
It's like you moms just know how to figure it out, make it happen when it seems like it's not gonna happen, when it don't make sense, when the resources ain't there, when ain't
That's true.
nobody else showing up. It's like nobody can do what a mom can do.
Yeah.
And there's something about having a mom, especially in those like rough life moments,
That's good.
that even if your mom don't say nothing, right? Even if she don't come with anything, just her being there will change the
Yes.
situation and make it feel better.
Yes,
But it only
absolutely.
happens when your mom shows up. No
Mhm.
shade to the dads, no shade to siblings, right? But it's something about when your mom shows up when you're having
Mm.
the worst time ever. It's like, my mom is here. Everything's gonna be okay. And it may not,
Yes,
but it just
yes.
feels like it will because your mom showed up.
That
And so I
reassurance.
just, yeah, like, so whatever it is, whatever special juice God poured into moms,
I
right?
love that.
It was like he gave them exactly what they needed, not just for their child, but like you were saying, for other children, because it can pour out to other kids too. But it's just, it's something about the moms. Like, you know a mom when you see a mom. And when a
Mm.
mom shows up, it's like, especially if you get a group of them together, like they gonna make something happen that it's like, oh my gosh, is there 20 people in here? It's like, no, it's about 5 moms. And they just got the job done.
Yes.
So that's when you ask that, it's just like nobody can do what a mom can do. And
Yeah,
that's all
that
I'll say about
reminds
that.
me. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Felicia. Um, that reminds me of like I always think about this like when I'm trying to figure out something or if I'm trying to make a decision, like I could go to someone for advice. I can go to any other person for advice, but it's something about when I talk with my mom and she reassures me, she gives me that word and I know if she is okay with it that I just have that calm that comes over me. You know, I don't know if anyone else like knows what I'm saying. Like, you guys get what I'm saying? It's just like that's that one person you need to hear it from. You know, anybody else could say the exact same thing, but when you hear it from your mom, it's like, okay, I know this is the right decision. Or in the other instance, if she's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should do that, then that's also kind of like affirming or what's the word confirming the that maybe no I shouldn't do that, so yes. Dr. Tranya, did you want to talk about why you think moms are important?
I mean, you guys know kind of what I do, so I think moms are important because we bring life.
Mhm.
Um, we have not figured out a way to bring life into the world without the inclusion of a woman in a womb. And as you've all so eloquently described, that talent is sometimes bestowed on people who can mother their own children, other people's children. Sometimes women will give birth and they don't have a mothering instinct and they will give their child to someone who can mother them, which I think is a blessing in itself because it's selfless to realize I don't have everything it takes to bring this kid into the world and let it grow and flourish the way it needs to. Let me find someone who can, or let me remove myself from the situation because God can't make a way, right? Um, obviously, we can't do it by ourselves. We need a partner or additional genetic material to make life. But women are multipliers. Mothers are multipliers. You give us your seed, we will give you a family. You give
Mhm.
us, a house, we'll make it a home.
Yes.
And in as much as I recognize the gravity of my role in my son's life,
Mhm.
I'm also just like, I'm intimidated by it. If I'm half the mother my mother was, I got big shoes to fill, you know? Um, and trying to learn how to interact with a teenager while they're learning themselves as they're becoming the humans that God created them to be, and stop telling them how to live their lives, but saying, what do you think? What ideas do you have? Creating that space for their personality. Like Sister Felicia said, her 3-year-old already has. it's daunting. It's a daunting task. Not one that I shy away from, but definitely one that kind of takes my breath away sometimes. And my son knows I'm a crybaby, and every now and again I'll shed a tear, either thinking about, the past and when he was a little baby and how, he loved on me and, needed me for so much and hopeful for the future, when he becomes, the man God has him to be, and, one day hoping to see him have a family and, be that advisor in his life that you guys have described, that person that he can come to. But just the biggest thing, moms are important because life comes through us and God intended it that way.
Yes.
And in support of the things that all three of you have said, Psalms 131 and 2 talks about how a mother calms and quiets the soul. And
Mm,
Isaiah 66 and 13 talks about how a mother comforts her child, so does the Lord comfort us. And so
mm,
he's used the beauty of motherhood to talk, he being the truth of God's word, to talk to us about how he calms our spirit and how he
mm.
encourages us and how he imparts godly wisdom to us through his word. And those are all of the things and again, in the scriptures that I just shared, even in Proverbs 29 and 15, all of those scriptures talk about different aspects of motherhood, and
Mm,
God uses that in His Word to talk about His relationship to to His children. There's a beauty in God's Word that just kind of reminds us of the magnitude of His power to use mothers to not only give birth to human beings but to
mm.
birth those things that are deep down inside of us that we don't recognize when we're younger, but yet
Yeah.
he nurtures those things through those mothers. Moms look at us and they go like, you can, and it's like, move a mountain. And you're like, no, not at all. But mom says, I see that in you. And so
Mm,
I've been blessed, like I'm sure so many others of you, with when my mom passed away, God
mhm.
gave me spiritual giant women, spiritual giant mothers, or spiritual moms, if you would, to continue where my mother ended. And I'm telling you, I have been extremely blessed by spiritual mothers, just as, again, taking up from where my mom left off. And what a
Yeah.
blessing they have been. And it's
Mhm.
the sadness of all of that is there are too many women or even men who don't know that, have never
Mhm.
seen that mother's love. Who I
Mhm.
was hugging this one young lady and she was like, I have never had anybody hug me that didn't want something from me.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
How devastating. I have
Yeah.
had, and so in my job, when I'm working with some of our students,
Mhm.
I've had them ask, "Can I hug you?" And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, grown men and women just melt
Yeah.
because it's like I've never had that mother's hug.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
learned a whole new term from me, a mom hug. Who
Yeah.
knew?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Betty. Thank you, Sister Betty. Um, so with that being said, you guys kind of have touched on this question already, but if you want to elaborate a little bit more, please feel free. What are some things that you have learned from your mother or mother figure? Um, just it could be advice, it could be just something that your mother did growing up. Um, like I said, you guys mentioned your mother's before, but is there anything that you want to specifically say um, that you learned from your mother or mother figure?
I think my mom has had so many great friends over the years. And so watching her and the women in her community, Miss Betty included, watching the lives they lead and how they walked their Christian walk has always sort of been something to strive for. I my mother, worked, at the post office for 30 plus years, sacrificed and, put me in school, all things that, were not to get her anywhere, but it was to further me and my wants and my efforts. And I just, I just am so grateful because I've seen mothers who put their wants and their needs above their children, and you don't quite know what it took to put someone else first until you like walked in the shoes and you can say, um, yeah, this isn't about me, this is about my kid. Um, I think I'm kind of in a situation now where I don't think I did such a great job of putting my son first. And so I'm feeling really convicted, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, like my mom really came through for me, you know?
Mhm.
And that duality, I like all those emotions, doesn't make me ashamed or sad. I'm gonna do better.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
gonna
that.
keep striving.
I
So,
love that because that could encourage someone tonight, that is listening to this podcast, even if they feel like they haven't done, the best that they feel like they could have done, it's not too late. It's not too late. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
And
Trent.
and speaking of that duality,
Mhm.
though, Dr. Hawkins, here's the rub, if you will. Um, the women of old, and I don't mean to call neither your mom nor I old, because I'm sure I'm probably around the same age as your mom is, but I mean in a different era. There was an old saying that I learned when I was younger that I realized um, I could never do the things that my mom did as well as she did them. And so I challenge you with that. And I know what you're saying, and that it's like I'm falling short. Well, when you look at our moms and what our moms did, there's an old saying that I heard that just like keeps speaking to me. We the willing, led by the unknown, have done so much with so little for so long. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing. And I think those are the mothers of that era. Um,
Mhm.
your mom, my mom, I look back on, and your mom could probably attest to this. I look back on some of the things that God has done through me, and I'm like, I don't know how in the world. And while we have that reference point, our moms, when we look back at your mother and I look back at our moms, man, that's even a greater stretch. Like
Mhm.
11 kids, come on. And all 11 of those children have post-secondary education. Five
Mhm.
of those students, those children, graduated from Hofstra University on a full ride. One of those five was the first Black student to graduate from Hofstra University with a math degree. Yeah,
Yes.
I ain't even in the neighborhood. So I hear what you're saying, Tranya, because if I look at me and what my mom has accomplished, man, I could use the rest of my life and still not do those things. But here is the encouraging thing for both of us and all of us. We do everything that we can to make them proud of us. To say, Mom, I saw you when you gave up what you wanted to give me what I needed. Mom, I saw you go without so I could have. And I tell you once again, ladies, there are not some of these young ladies and gentlemen, children even, have never known that ever. Never. And so, how blessed are we to have that faith heritage that we got from our parents? And that faith heritage helps us to stay close to like they said, clean to the cross, that old
Mhm.
rugged cross, because we know mama didn't do it by herself. That we, the willing, led by the unknown, they know was Christ. And so I believe that our parents have taught us so much more about Christianity and faith and commitment and prayer and
Mhm.
faithfulness to God and his faithfulness to us. They've taught us more by their example
Mhm.
than we read a lot in the word. And there's nothing like that life giving example. It's a beautiful thing. So many children don't know, again, that faith history, and that's rich. I mean, your mom, and I'm sure your mom's mom, when that woman prayed, we saw stuff happen. And yeah, to have, well, I don't want to take all the time, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Thank you, Sister Betty. Sister Felicia, did you want to speak about that? Speak about what you've learned from mom or mother figures.
I got two things. The first thing that I would say is my mom is a helper. And growing up, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. And then as I became an adult and I just watched her, I was like, she's really the stranger that like sees a random person struggling and is like, let me go over here and like help them out. Or she sees like an elderly person who's struggling to walk or get in the line or stand up or anything. And she's like, let me go help them out. And it'd be just the most randomest, what somebody may consider inconvenient time. But when I look back and I think about it, like she was such a selfless helper. And it never like crossed her mind that she's doing this to show off or that she was doing it to like beef herself up to her children. That was just who she was, like, or who she is. That she just helps people. And even now, like, as I watch my mom take care of her mom, I'm impressed by her because she's the second youngest out of 8 siblings, and she's taken on this load. And she probably wouldn't call it a load, but she's taken on this responsibility to take care of her mom, to make sure that her mom doesn't go without, has what she needs, can still enjoy some semblance of, a life that feels enjoyable. And I'm impressed because like other siblings have dropped the ball and she has yet to, she doesn't complain about it. She doesn't, have any malice or any ill talk. She's just like, I gotta take care of my mom. And whatever my mom needs, I'll make sure she got it. And I will do what I need to do for me. But it's like you see that same selflessness that has translated it from her parenting as a mom into her care of her own mom, where she's just like, whatever I gotta do to make sure my mom's okay, I will do. So
I love that.
That's the first thing. But the second thing I figured out that I learned from my mom after I became a mom is that my mom was good at making sure that we always have fun. She made sure that we created like experiences or had good memories. It was just like when TK was a little bit smaller, he was like a baby. And I spent that first year at home with him. I would always find something for us to do, like, let's go have a picnic in the park. Let's go to the park and look at the horse, just random, like, fun stuff for us to do. And I remember Sterling was like, you always figure out, like, good ideas. Like, how do you know, like, what to do or, like, how to make some activity? And I'm like, my mom.
Yeah.
She would always be like, hey, get in the car, let's go somewhere. And we won't know where we're going. But whatever it was like something fun that she thought was a cool idea. Or she's like, y'all want to go to Chuck E. Cheese? Let's go play the games and like have a good time. But she was always about creating fun times for us. And it didn't matter. Like, it was never like, well, we can't have fun because we don't have a lot of money. Or we can't have fun because I don't have this. She always figured out a way for us to take a family vacation or go to the zoo or whatever it was so that we'd have good memories. And so even now, like Easter, she's like, I bought a bunch of kites. Y'all want to go fly some kites? And so like Easter, she came and we went to the park after dinner and just everybody was flying kites in the park. And it was just like, I'm like so impressed by her. I'm like, my mom's in her 60s and I'm like, she's still doing it. She's still like let's go have fun. Let's enjoy. Let's do things as a family together and just, have fun. And so I feel like that is something that I like trying when you talk about like I got big shoes to fill. I think about it, I'm like, man, I want my kids to look like back and be like, man, my mom really made sure we enjoyed and had fun, whether it was a
Mm.
silly day at home or she made a slip and slide out of a truck tarp in the backyard. Like it was just so many things I could name that I'm like, man, she really made sure that like we as kids could like enjoy our childhood regardless of what it came from or what it was like. Um and we can like I just have like this flood of like, man, she made it happen. So those are my two biggest.
So
Thank you, Sister
I
Felicia.
have to ask a
Yes.
question though. Do you as parents now see yourself doing things that your mom used to do with
Yes,
your children?
absolutely. Absolutely. I think
Yes.
even in the things that I say, I'm like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, I never thought I would say that. I sound just
Yeah.
like my mom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
I was doing that before I became a mom. I was talking like her, and I was like, "Golly, where did she come from?" Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Um, and so with that being said, thank you for that, Sister Felicia. With that being said, would you ladies please talk about what do you love about being a mother? And then what would you say are some challenges? Because, let's just be honest. There are challenges with being a mom sometimes. And maybe we can help each other out, like just by talking through it. But yes, there's great things that we love about being a mom, and then there are some challenges. So um, you guys speak on that.
Okay, it's what we enjoy about being a mom, and then the challenges.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, I enjoy watching him grow, but this is gonna be both of them. I enjoy the challenge and responsibility of being a mom
Mhm.
because I think that it's an honor to be a mom.
Yeah.
And even before I had kids, I always believed that God gave the children the moms they needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to know, my son's story and how he's grown, I feel honored that I get to be his mom and God has entrusted me to build him up, to raise him, to shape him, to pour Christ into him. Um, every time like people ask like how's motherhood, like I always say like it's a joy because even in like some of the difficult moments or if there's a day that I'm crying because I'm like I don't know if I'm doing this right, I, it's a joy to be a mom. It's a joy to watch him progress and be happy and see him just like light up because he's like, man, like you're my mom, right? Like it is it's just indescribable. I mean, I'm sure y'all get it, but it's like there's no other place in life that you have that kind of experience.
Yeah.
And to be responsible for this life. And again, to know that God has been like, hey, I gave you this one. I trust you with this one. He trusted me with another one. So I guess I'm doing all right. But it's an honor. Like it's just an honor to have that responsibility, to be his advocate, to be his teacher, to be, a guide for him and help him grow. So that's the thing that I enjoy. Um, but the challenge is the part of am I doing this right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I know, people talk about mom guilt, and I don't
Mhm.
know that I experience it often, but there are those moments where it's just like, am I doing it right? Is this what I'm
Mhm.
supposed to do? Did I give him too many snacks today? Should we have played a couple more like educational games? Did we not spend enough time outside? He not eating his vegetables. Is he gonna be all right? Like just those moments of doubt where I'm like, okay, Lord, like give me grace for those moments where maybe I'm not doing what is ideal, but I'm hoping that, you'll cover it so that he still grows to be, who you're designing him to be. So
I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Felicia.
I think the challenges of being a mom, I think I'll address that one. Honestly, I just share a sense of heartbreak, because I think about the women who want to be moms and can't. I had a short stint with infertility before I had Langston, and you're talking about the pain every month when either your period comes or the pregnancy test is negative. When all I want to do is love on somebody and look out for them and take care of them, that kind of being told, I now know, not yet, but at the time felt like a really stern no, just really resonates with me. So after 2 years of, after one suffering a miscarriage, which I don't know how many mothers out there have had. I called my mom instantly. She was on the next flight out. She didn't hesitate. I don't know if it was the pastor's anniversary and she was the, chairperson of the committee, but that day she was here, and in no time flat, I had the person who, as you said, Sister Chan, made everything better. She didn't bring my babies back, but like it was better because she was there.
Yeah.
So, for then 2 years of getting told not yet, not yet. And in April, when I got that positive pregnancy test, like it just took my breath away. And, so for women who never get that, my heart aches for them. It's such an incredible joy. Then, as Ms. Felicia said, feeling that baby growing inside you, falling in love with that baby more and more every day. I often tell people that are suffering with loss, I'm like, listen, the minute you saw that positive pregnancy test, you were holding a baby, watching it graduate from kindergarten, watching it graduate from high school. You have flashes of so many amazing moments as a mother from just a positive pregnancy test.
Yeah.
It's true. It really is.
Yeah.
Feeling and move for the first time. I was walking down some steps and I felt a flutter. And I kind of stopped because I was at work. And I was like, was that? I think my baby just moved.
Yeah.
To the day he was born. And I jokingly say it was like an out of body experience because I was like sobbing. I mean, ugly crying. Like after he was out, I didn't know what I was having. I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. My dear friend and partner, she's like a sister to me, Tamika, she delivers him. And she says, it's a boy. And like, I couldn't stop sobbing.
Wow.
I look over at my mom, and I don't know how long they let this go on. And she goes, what you crying for? Oh no. Oh no, and my mother is the crybaby. I want y'all to know. She cried because the sun came out. I'd be like, Mama, but it's the sun. You should be happy. God is just so good to us. And for her to like shut my tears down in that moment, because she was like, your baby's here. You're a mom.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And so just all those emotions, that flow in with kind of all the things I discussed. What do I love most about being a mom? It's a blessing and a curse, that responsibility. That kid is mine. I laid out my life today if I had to help him, get him to what he needed. It's just something that women, it's innate to you. I know not every mother experiences that love in that way, But when, I realized God gave me that, I just like fell in love with him. And I'm gonna be a little partial because I got a little black boy and I got that black boy joy, and there's nothing like a mother-son bond. And I
Mhm.
know he's gonna be embarrassed when I say this, so Langston, plug ears. Um, I know I was probably his first crush. He wanted to tell me stuff, he wanted to show me stuff, and over time that fades, naturally. But I was in love with him from the minute I saw him. I did
Wow.
ask for a maternity test because I wasn't sure he was mine because he looked so much like his father. But I'm getting him back. I see some of me in him. I know you guys do too. So, and I just love that. I love the blessing of him. I love the watching him. All my friends will tell you though, I hate him growing up because he's getting taller than me. So if you ever see me running from him, it's probably because I'm trying to not let him show me that he's taller than me. Um, but like I'm excited. I'm excited at the same time.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Tranya, for sharing and being transparent, being honest. We're having a real conversation here. So thank you so much for that because that's real. There's so many women that have gone through miscarriages and gone through loss and even just gone through wanting to be a mother and have not experienced that. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Wow. So, I guess my sharing is going to be rated R. Real, raw, relevant, and revelational. I have had the joy of all of those beautiful moments. But I too have had the miscarriage and the real, I won't say depression, but just kind of going into a dark place. But I 1,000% credit my mother for her real talk. Like Tanya was saying, she was crying, and mom just said, what are you crying for? My mom did that at a moment when I was in that dark place and falling deeper into it with my miscarriage.
Mhm.
And my mom said to me, I guess she kind of had enough of the pity party. It's like, okay, now here's a tissue. Let's get up and let's move on. But she did it in a way that made me see things from a different perspective and a paradigm shift. My mom said to me, she said, baby, let me tell you something. You are crying and holding on to the fact that you lost that baby. And she says, in a sense, understand, feel your pain. But she said, I need you to really take a look at things from a different perspective. The word says, trust God and don't lean to your own understanding, she said. And she said, so what you don't know is maybe God knew something you didn't know.
Mm,
Maybe that baby was going to come here and suffer all of its life.
mm.
And God said, I love the child in you too much to let either one of you go through that.
Yeah.
Now, wake up call, because I was pretty happy in my pity party and sitting on my pity pot. But she said, honey, either he's God or he's not.
Mm,
And either you trust him or you don't.
yeah.
And so I was like, so does that mean I never gonna be a mother? She said, listen, she said, that was yesterday and that was then, but you don't know
Mhm.
what God's gonna do in the future. And
Yeah.
so if you're willing to trust him, let him be God and you
Yeah.
just keep being his child. Now, I kind of thought she should have had a more loving hand than that. But mom knew what I needed to get me off of my pity pot and get me moving and get me back on my knees.
Yeah.
And so I prayed. I asked God for a child.
Yeah.
And before we ever conceived, I saw my baby. I
Wow.
saw this little high yellow fat cheek baby that had a head full of hair. I went to my then husband and said, I saw our child. He goes, you're pregnant? I go, no. He goes, what do you mean you saw the child? I said, I saw her.
Mm.
And so I would tell you that the day that my daughter was born, and the pictures that they take in the hospital, that was a picture God showed me
Wow.
to the T. And so I
Mm,
do praise God for my mom who was just saying, listen, trust God. So
yeah.
what? You had a miscarriage. Did God stop being God? Is he no
Mhm.
longer able to do the things that he's done before? Do you remember who God was? And so again, like I said, I thought, well, you could have stroked me a little bit more, but sometimes stroking is not what we need.
Yeah.
And so I would say to that mother who may have already suffered a miscarriage or who has been trying forever, um, just because there was a past failed pregnancy, that
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the greatness that God is able and willing and ready to walk you into.
Yeah.
And so I would just tell you, trust God and leave the consequences to Him. Just trust Him. And God, if you want me to have a child, I'm asking you for one.
Mhm.
Careful what you ask for, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God is, He loves us so much that He'll hear us. And in my situation, He moves and showed
Mhm.
me the picture before I ever even saw the child. And so I would encourage that parent who has gone through a miscarriage. It is hard and it
Yeah.
is a loss. And
Yeah.
even having gone through a stillborn, I can only imagine the
Mm.
pain. I know it's rough, but I also know that my God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that I can ask or think. And then the word says that all things work together for good. And if it ain't worked for good yet, he ain't done. He's still
Yeah.
working. So just keep trusting him. And
Mm.
so to that mother who parents a strong-willed child, who was me, by the way, one time, one upon a time in my life. My mom had 11 children, but I think of all of the 11, number 10 made her parent. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I say that to mothers who feel like you're giving everything you need to give to your child, and your child is doing everything other than what you taught them to do. I remember my mother telling me, she said, listen, baby, she said, listen, the word says that, well, she just simply said, thank God Jacob will receive his reward if Israel does not hear. And so what she was saying was, my job is to tell you what's right and to love you and basically love the hell out of you. But if I tell you what to do and you choose not to do it, my hands are clean. I
Mm.
parented you. I've
Yeah.
shown you what you needed. And I say that because I know there's so many parents that's hurting, not parents that have done it the wrong way necessarily, but just that they grow up and they have their minds and they do what they do and they break your heart. But that does not mean that, because I was listening to Sister Felicia, and she was saying, I got the one that God had for me. And
Wow.
so there'll be days when, if I'm keeping it real, it's like, God, really, you gave me this one with this
Mhm.
challenge, Lord, help me. Okay. But that's where we realize that when I can't, God can. And
Yeah.
so there are things that my mom would try to teach me, and because I was stubborn, strong-willed, whatever you want to call it, my mom, she'd tell me about it, and if you didn't do it, then she started praying. And then
Mm.
I heard her calling my name before the Lord, and I was like, hey, wait, why we gotta put Jesus in this? We really need to do that? What? And so I encourage those parents that are struggling with those strong-willed children, even as adults or even children. One of my counselees, his 15-year-old daughter has run away from home 3 times. He
Mm.
is a godly man. He and his wife and family are all in the church, and his daughter just takes off. Can you
Yeah.
imagine the hurt in his heart? But the
Mm.
challenge there is you center yourself on Christ and you just keep praying and you just keep laying before the Lord and call that child by name and trust God when you can't see him or trace him.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Betty. Thank you. And so the last question I want to ask before we end tonight is, with so much that mothers experience, we endure, we go through, and just the day to day, how can we honor and take care of mothers in society that demand so much of us? What do you guys think are some ways that we can honor, take care of mothers in a society that demands so much of mothers?
I'm gonna go first because that's a tough one. I don't want to be the last one that runs out of stuff that they can say. Um, I think we've sort of alluded to it, but do our God-given best to be the mothers like the mothers who created us. We owe it to them to pour into these children, whether they're ours or others. We owe it to them to expose them to Christ, expose them to a Christian lifestyle, knowing that we are sinners saved by grace. I'm not perfect, but I want you to know what is and what should be and how it should look. And for those of you, if money were no object, we'd all know how to honor our mothers, right? We're in a capitalist society. You buy them the thing that they like. You buy them a nice house, a nice car. You buy them, things, jewelry, clothes, those are all earthly treasures. But what you got to do is do things that will kind of serve the kingdom. So give to the community. Mothers, we've all said our mothers have a giving and a helpful nature. Give in your workplace. We've all had that look, work, not today. But dig deep, find that extra gear because that does honor the way you were raised. Honor thy father and thy mother. It takes back to it was instilled in me to always do my best, put my best foot forward, be the best that I can be. And maybe your mother doesn't see that, the world does, and that's a reflection on her. I think during our Black History Talk, somebody said, I always tell my daughters, wherever you go, you're a reflection of me. And she said, and wherever I go, I'm also a reflection of you. My mother and I joke all the time. She said, you the fashion police. You always telling me what to wear and what to take off, how I look. And it does speak to like, hey, I'm one of the last people to see you walk out the house before you leave. And if I let you walk out here looking crazy, I didn't do my job, That's, mothers, friends, sisters, etc. But truly creating that thing. And I think experiences are an excellent way to do it. Like, what is something we could do together that we'll look back on and smile about? I was blessed to be able to go on a birthday trip with my mom. I'm not supposed to tell her age probably, but she probably don't care. And we went to Ireland together, and a lot of things about that trip were amazing, and a lot of things I was like, man, what were we doing? Like Black women picking up, going to Ireland, staying at bread and breakfast. We were at somebody's house at one point, like the two of us at somebody's house down the hall from where they slept. We slept. But it was an amazing experience. And just building on that, like every year I have my mother, every day I have my mother. I'm so grateful she's still here. My mother, for those of you who don't know, she lost her mother when she was 6. And for her to be the pillar of a mother that she is without having had that constant example, but she'll tell you she had mother figures. The woman who brought her, to church, she was a mother figure. She'll never take away from what her mother gave her in those 6 years. But like, I'm in awe sometimes listening to her tell stories about how I stood at the stove watching my mom cook and cooking with her, like little things like that. So wanting to share that sort of stuff with my son, come on, let's cook such and such together, all those are the things I think we do to sort of honor and love on them. And then my mother, she gravitates toward people who have lost their moms, which I think is beautiful, right? Because she's got all this mothering to give. Listen, if you out there, you need some mothering, find Sister Elaine. She got so much, more than what one child can take. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm back. But no, I love her dearly. Love her to pieces. And I hope that every day she's here, she can say, yeah, my daughter loves me. She don't always say it, but I hope she could say it, is what I'm saying. Because she loves me and I love her.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Tryon.
I just wish society appreciated moms, but We're not going to solve that on this pod right now, but this is something that I kind of gleaned from my mother-in-law is the importance of tending to yourself because everybody demands so much of you.
Mm.
And so not to shy away from requesting or setting the boundary of I need some time to not mom, to not wife, to not whatever, and just be me, do what I want to do, watch what I want to watch, eat what I want to eat, and sleep as long as I want to sleep.
Yeah.
But not being ashamed to do that. I feel like that's been some wisdom that she's imparted on me over these years of being a mom, even being a wife, of just like, hey, you got 12 hours. You don't got no kid. You don't got nobody calling your name. You don't got nobody asking you for anything. Do something that pours back into yourself. And so, again, not being ashamed or feeling bad to even ask for, I just want a weekend by myself so I can be in my skin and my skin be on me and ain't nobody else trying to be in it. I just, I feel like that's been very helpful and reassuring to hear her say, hey, it's okay if you just, and whatever you do doesn't have to be for anybody else. It's
Right.
okay if it's just for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Felicia. Yeah, I can relate to that. I just told my husband, I said, for Mother's Day, I said, it doesn't have to be Mother's Day weekend, but I just want to be able to get a hotel room so I can just have a day where I can just relax, not worry about anything. Like you said, I can eat what I want, I can go where I want, I can, if I want to buy something nice for myself, and even if I don't, if I just want to lay in the bed and take a nap, I can do that. But it's like sometimes as mothers, we just feel guilty. We feel guilty about that, or I shouldn't be doing this. I need to make sure the kids are together, which you do need to make sure your kids are together, but it's okay to make sure you're together too. So I can definitely feel what you're saying, Felicia. Sister Betty, did you want to say anything, speak about that?
I heard Sister Tranya say, I'm gonna go first because, and then I heard Sister Chanda set me up to go last. And I was like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's special. Again, it still are. Our mothers, my mom was made of some stuff that I'm not. Though we are all of her children were in a position to do and give her anything she wanted, the most important things to my mom was stuff that you could not buy. Just show me love, live a good life, make good choices. And like somebody said, I don't remember who was, I think it was Dr. Tranya, when you walk out that door, remember whose you are and who you represent. And I think I heard, I don't remember who it was, but said, don't let your name beat you home. Don't let your name get back home before you do. And so those were the things that were most important to and I want to say the moms of our generation, because it wasn't the nicest gift in the world that they wanted. I mean, my brothers and we've taken mom a whole lot of different places, but the only thing that mom wanted to know was love one another, stick together, always remember you are family. And that sense of family was so incredibly important. I wish I could hear my mother's voice again. But the things that my mom has instilled in and shared with me still resonate with me. There are days that, like I was saying earlier, I see me doing things that my mom did in a good way. I see me following after my mom's pattern. Like as one of you said, stand in the kitchen and watch my mom cook. Man, I'm happy in the kitchen. And my mother never did anything from a box. Everything was scratch. And so if you pulled out a box, my mom's like, "What? You gonna feed that to who? You can't feed that to your kids." But it was just the small things that meant so much. And I was talking to one of my counselees, and they were talking about, how they were mom and dad is like, we're raising our parents. And it was like it was a frustration. So I reminded her, um, just kind of remember that mom changed your diaper and mom taught you how to use a spoon. And at one point, mama took that spoon and wiped off your mouth because you had food all over your clothes. And so we have to be mindful of that as our parents age. Um, okay, so you had to change mom's clothes because mom had an accident. How long did she change her diapers?
Right.
And so just kind of keeping things in perspective. And like I said, society, what the society demands, society is off the scale right about now. So we should not be, as believers, looking to anything that society says to us is normal, because there's nothing that's normal in that. But the Bible tells us, children, obey your parents in the Lord. Honor that your days may be long and you may live long on the earth. And so it's like it's a requirement with a promise. So if you do this, this is what will happen to you. And that law of reciprocity. Your kids watching how you treat your mom.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for everything that you have shared tonight. Thank you for sharing your hearts. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your advice. Um, this has been a very wonderful evening. And I'm just appreciative of you ladies because I've learned so much in just the 1 hour that we've had together. So I hope that others have learned a lot from this podcast as well, and that we've encouraged other mothers and mothers to be, and just women in general. So thank you, ladies, for everything tonight. I appreciate you all.